Welcome to the Real San Francisco podcast, where the pulse of the city meets the truth of the market. We go beyond the headlines to bring you stories, data, and insider takes from those who live and breathe the city we love. Ready to get real? Here we go. Welcome back to Real San Francisco. And today we're talking about why we love San Francisco. You know, you've been reading the headlines and basically the city's unlivable. There's crime on our streets. People are breaking into our cars every day. There's homeless people running around everywhere and people are fleeing. But if you go out to the Mission on a Friday night for dinner, if you go out to Dolores Park on any sunny day, if you wait in line at one of the new bakeries out in the Sunset, it tells you a very different story. So today we're here to talk about what life really looks like in San Francisco, why we love San Francisco, and why we continue to be all in on this beautiful city.
Let's start with the stats.
Because there are some ones that are contradictory to what you would think you would hear.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what you're saying was last year and years before.
Right.
But this year, 2025, is a materially different vibe and reality here on the ground. Amazing.
It's amazing.
All right, some stats. I think numbers don't lie. I'm a big numbers person. Lowest crime rate in 22 years here in San Francisco, 41 decrease in car break-ins. And that might be year over year, the 41 decrease in car break-ins. Yeah. In the first half of 2025, venture capital funding for AI companies in San Francisco Metro surpassed $29 billion. That was from PitchBook. Over the past 5 years, AI-related companies have leased more than 5 million square feet of space here in San Francisco, which is projected to grow significantly. And we have less than 100 million square feet of office space. So that's over 5% of our office space from AI companies.
Downtown's
and that's
coming back.
Only growing. Okay. Office vacancy continues to decline, and the fastest rate of decline quarter over quarter since 2015 just happened this past quarter, right, in Q2. That's massive.
That's big.
We still have a long ways to go.
Yeah.
I mean, rates are still, plus or minus 30, a little over 30%, but holy smokes.
Yeah.
The cadence is ticking up. From January to May 2025, this is a good one. SFO, passenger traffic, has climbed 6.5%. Now, that's compared to the national trend, which is a 2% decline.
Right.
So we're up 6.5%. We're actually up 8.5% relative to the national
numbers. That's a great stat.
I mean, that says something. Yeah. That's really something. And, sometimes our runways have to close down because of fog. So the fact that we're up 6.5%, that's huge. That's huge. All right. A series of high-profile concert weekends, which we both went to Dead & Co.
We're going to talk more. We'll talk more about this stat.
Fine. So a series of high-profile concert weekends in Golden Gate Park during August, including acts of Outside Lands, Dead & Company, et cetera, generating an estimated $150 million of economic activity, attracting almost 500,000 attendees, boosting hotel occupancy to nearly 90% levels.
That's amazing.
That's huge.
90%.
Big. Yeah. Why is that big? Well, because that's good for San Francisco to have people here and enjoying themselves. But tax revenue.
Yep.
That's important tax revenue. We've had this budget shortfall, $900 million almost, that has been closed or is closing. We need that revenue back so that we can open some critical services. So that's really
Great
important.
Way to do it.
Okay, a recent Chronicle poll reveals 57% of residents now view San Francisco's quality of life favorably. 57%. I mean, holy smokes, like a year ago.
The rest of that stat, yeah.
Well, the rest of it was 39% a year ago.
That's a big jump.
That's huge.
I mean, these stats are it's amazing year over year. There are these huge jumps year over year.
So those are the stats. And what's really fun about the stats is they're mirroring our own perception and our own perspective here. It's one thing to say, it feels like this, but when we're looking at objective stats, that tourism is up, tax revenue is up, crime is down, it starts to really tell a real story that's not just hope. It's not hopium.
Yeah.
It's real. It's based in reality.
Yeah. And let's talk about our personal experiences. Yeah. And so the music for me is just, so I went and saw the Dead.
I was at Dead Company. I was at the Sunday show.
Yeah. And then I live in the outer Sunset right by the polo fields and where all the, and seeing the buses lined up, the shuttles of people coming in and the people walking past our window to go into the park, and then going in and seeing the Dead and Outside Lands, and then Skrillex and Fred Again earlier this year down the Civic Center, where they just packed the Civic Center with people. I mean, there are just people. These massive shows going on, and it's amazing to see all these people listening to music and enjoying themselves, but it also just shows that people are coming back to San Francisco.
Absolutely. And you were at Stern Grove. I was at Stern Grove, I went to 2 shows this season. I mean,
one of the most magical, amazing venues.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked to the executive director.
I mean, he was
talks about the cathedral in the Redwoods.
Totally. Yeah. And it's like San Francisco is a place that is fun again. It's a place where people want to be. And it's just, there's a vibe. I can't begin to tell you how many people come up to me and say, man, they go, your brother's doing a great job. Thank you. I say, first of all, don't thank me, thank Daniel. I say, second of all, like, it takes a village here, though. I mean, I think there's just this, like, a decision's been made that San Francisco is too precious to let it go by the wayside. And we've got some good stewards in right now on the political side, in the small business community side. And it's like there's this unspoken and now really like spoken reality where it's like, no, like we're going to reinvest in our city.
Yep.
In every sector of the city, whether it's politics, whether it's business, whether it's non-for-profit. It's like, no, this city is worth saving. And holy smokes, we've just seen such a different perspective this year. And look, we're getting a new professional soccer team, Golden City FC. And that's pretty sweet. Right, like that's kicking off next year. It's founded this year, but they're going to debut in 2026, maybe 2027, at Kezar Stadium. And they're going to refurbish that. Team. Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? And that's a 15-year agreement. That's cool. We've got our friends over at K Fico who are going to be opening up via Aurelia, a Tuscan waterfront dining spot in Mission Rock. I mean, that's going to be really magical and very cool. And that's going to open, that's opening, I think, in like weeks.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were opening that soon.
We've got Pier 70 with pickleball courts and paddle tennis. There's like a bunch of courts going in there, so cool recreational options. But then right there also, there's going to be this. Have you been to the Sphere in Las Vegas yet?
No, I've heard about it, but I have
There's
not
like a version of the Sphere. I don't think it's the same creators, but it's the version of the Sphere that's going to be, it's multi-sensory experience. It's going to be opening right there at Pier 72. So all these rec and entertainment options, like how cool is that? 200 days of programming already kicked off in Union Square, where they've got concerts and film and, things for kids and arts and crafts things. And
who needs Macy's?
You've got fun. You've got fun coming. You've got more proposals for pools and fitness on various piers. Clay Theater. Oh, man, that's such a cool theater on Fillmore that was closed for years.
Yeah.
It's opening back up again. Castro Theater. It's being refurbished by Another Planet. Like, that's opening up again. Like, great special venues. And the list goes on. Yeah. I mean, but it's like small businesses, new businesses. I mean, there's lots of redevelopment happening for.
Well, and let's talk about the parks. So, I have kids, and so we love the parks. And Sunset Dunes, I mean, that was a bit contentious, but it's incredible. I mean, to have that stretch of park across the beach by the ocean is amazing. What they did with Middle Lake, it's beautiful out there. You go all the way across the city to Crane Cove, and that kind of downtown development they've done on that side of the city. Tunnel Tops over on the north side.
And they just opened up an adjacent 1.5 acre park right next to Tunnel Top that took over some of the sports basement parking lot.
I mean, that is not only beautiful as these parks are, but then I was just over there the other day, and Il Parco is the little restaurant they have right up from Tunnel Tops out by the parade lawn, which is we're here now. And it's gorgeous, and you can get food, and you can hang out, and the kids can play on the playground, and you can walk across to the beach. I mean, it's just so much here to enjoy. Well, let's talk. What are some of your favorite things? So grew up.
I mean,
Well,
I was born in the city. In fairness, so I was born in the city. I grew up in Marin. Okay, I live in the city now with my wife, as you know, and importantly, if I didn't mention our dog, we live with our dog too. I mean, he's like our son. We don't have kids yet. We're working on kids, but he's our kid.
Can't forget.
I'd have to say the parks. I mean, for me, first of all, the stats are amazing. I think it's something like 100% of San Franciscans live within, I want to say, a 10-minute or a 12-minute walk to a park. I mean, there's over 200 parks in San Francisco. Golden Gate Park is larger than Central Park in New York. Like, it is a massive park, and there's something for everybody. I mean, do you know that there's archery in Golden Gate Park?
I do.
There's fly fishing in Golden Gate Park.
Golfing.
There's golfing in Golden Gate Park.
Golf.
There's disc golf. There's all these beautiful meadows for picnicking.
Horses are gone, but that's
There's a new Magic Dragon display. All this
art.
art.
Have you seen the dragon?
I saw it getting installed.
I rode by there with my son the other day, and I was like, "What the dragon?" And he was like, "Yeah, Dad, don't you know there's a dragon in Golden Gate Park now? Awesome. We know about the dragon."
But all the art in the culture, like there's real stuff happening. You know, we've got Paul McCartney.
Wait, can we iterate that there's a dragon in a pond in Golden Gate Park?
It's not real.
Wait, let's talk about this. There's a dragon in a pond in Golden Gate Park.
It does feel like we're
period.
Out.
The end of episode. Yeah. We're walking out of here.
Yeah, all this art in the park. And in the park too, we've got the D. Young Museum, right? Part of the Fine Arts Museum. Our friend Sally Katz curated the Paul McCartney Museum Paul McCartney exhibit that's there right now. Beautiful, right? Like, we're going to have a boom and bust exhibit coming up in October that she's curating. Like, how cool is that? Yeah. This is a boom and bust town. We were busted for years here in San Francisco. We were. Like, let's just call it what it is. We are now back in boom times, baby. Like, we are on the boom cycle. We're back on the upswing. And I think we're just at the beginning.
San Francisco's a city of iterations. And you look at, it goes back to the gold rush, to the 60s and the counterculture, and it's just this wave after wave. It reinvents itself. And that's one of the cool things about this city is it just keeps reinventing itself. Yep. And when we saw this exodus and everybody leaving and saying, it was the pandemic, and then it was the city's horrible and everybody left. And we said, okay, well, if you don't love San Francisco and you don't want to be here, then that's fine. You go. And the city kind of cleans itself out. And then it just brings people back in. Mm-hmm. And that's, I think, one of the magic things about San Francisco. And my wife is a fourth generation. My kids are fifth generation San Franciscans. And she just talks about, the San Francisco. When she grew up, it's a different San Francisco, but it just keeps being amazing for different reasons. And for some of the same reasons.
100%. Yeah, and
so back to your favorites. You were saying the parks.
So far, I mean, the parks are great, and I think there's not like one specific location. Like, just where Outside Lands was, all those meadows out there are just so beautiful. Yeah. I think where Stern Grove was, I think it was like 4 weekends of music that we just had out there, like back to back.
Yeah, I think
right.
I think they do. The whole summer season.
It was really something, and it's nice just to get a little lost in the park and just roam and walk and just find your place there and be with a friend or your spouse or yourself. It's meditative. I love it. And especially on a sunny day. And sometimes they're few and far between this summer. Let's call it what it is. Carl the fog rolls in. But we've been breaking through, Carl, and we've been seeing sunny days for the last week plus. And it feels great. And we're now entering that fall season just about. And it's going to be like bluebird skies. So for me, my number one's got to be the park. I also really like swimming in aquatic park. Now, I don't do it that much, but it's a wake me up. I mean, holy smokes. If you want to wake your body up, it's like a cold plunge, right? If you want to wake your body up and just get those endorphins going and the blood flow, and doctors say it's healthy for you too, go in, jump in for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I go for a 20-minute swim. I'll go with a wetsuit. I know some people at the Dolphin Club, I don't know how they do it. There must be reptiles or something. They swim without protection. It's just bare flesh.
Swim off.
And I'm like, it might be, And I'm just watching this, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know how you do it. Maybe I need to put some LBs on because, I am, I could use some, I need to bulk up. So maybe once I do that, I'll try it. But anyway, it is so refreshing. And I did this swim from Alcatraz a couple years ago for a fundraiser. And we went at 6 a.m. during the slack tide from Alcatraz Aquatic Park. And on my right, I'm looking at the mouth of the bay, Golden Gate Bridge, at the Marin Headlands at San Francisco. behind me is Marin, Angel Island, Alcatraz. To my left is the East Bay, and you can see the bridge.
It's the most beautiful
East Bay,
city.
right?
And
then in front of me is just the iconic San Francisco cityscape, and I was just like, this is Shangri-La.
Yeah,
this is paradise. Truly, it is just such a gorgeous place. And then I think to myself, wow, I could vacation right here in my own city.
Yes,
right.
You can do staycations very easily.
Totally, and so we've started doing that more and more. My wife and I, and we do it with friends, and we've started. There's so many new cool restaurants and eateries. I mean, something I didn't mention, Lore, which is the first of its kind. It's a speakeasy meets escape room in the Mission. By the way, escape rooms are tough.
San Francisco.
Oh my God,
so
totally
San Francisco.
Funky and different. But there's all these great concepts popping up.
And it's just, and thinking about that yesterday, my son was at skateboarding camp, which is very San
In the city?
Francisco. Yeah,
Cool.
down, and there's the Waller skate park, right? Like down in Stanion by the Whole Foods.
Cool.
And then some buddies, and we went with one of his parents, some of his buddies, to this place called Free Gold Watch. I don't know if you heard of it. And again, I walked in, and I was like, this is so San Francisco. It's a arcade, which is mostly old pinball machines and like antique arcade, just a like small space filled with them, and a printing press, like a t-shirt printing press. So their business is a t-shirt printing press, and you smell the hot like t-shirts being printed, and they're literally coming off the line, and then just all these pinball machines and video games. And I was just like, that's
what's it called?
Free Gold Watch. Right on like Waller and Stanion.
I've heard of it. I've never been.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Really cool.
Yeah. And just those things, there are all those little things. And one of the things, as you were talking of just kind of the scape and the city, is that it's a smaller city, but it's still a big city, a metropolitan area. But I think we're seeing this resurgence globally and in San Francisco of community and just the neighborhoods. And I know in my neighborhood, like Sundays, we go to the farmer's market, and I know the bread guy, and I know the people at the farmer's market, and I run into a lot of my neighbors there. And then we walk down Irving and, take the baby in the stroller, and we go down to the Blackbird coffee shop and get a coffee, or go to Hook and get a burrito, and then walk down and walk along the new Sunset Dunes, or go to the beach and, see all the people in our neighborhood and our friends out there. And I think that I lived in New York as well, and I love New York, and there's community in New York too, but I feel like San Francisco, you get a neighborhood feel in a big city, which is one of the things I love about it.
Yeah.
And I think that combined with, I said when I started to formulate my ideas of what I wanted to do and be as an adult, I wanted the stimulation of a metropolitan area, but I wanted to be in nature. And San Francisco is that.
Got that.
That's exactly, I found it. And it's just a great place. And so I think, I would agree with you. Parks, food, and then just that like nature piece of San Francisco.
Some of our friends, one in particular, Danny, he's gotten really into bird watching. Cool. In fact, so much so that he is now in a volunteer capacity. He's, I don't know if the right word is like ranger, but he's like he points out to visitors on Alcatraz when they disembark from the boat and they're on the island, shows them all the nature, like the bird life on the island. And it's just so like, it fills him up with just such happiness because it's so rich with bird life. And San Francisco is too, as I've now learned through Danny. And there's just something, there really is something for everybody in this city. And if the city feels too small, well, you know what? You go out and there's another 4 million people outside the city, that whole metro that you've just talked about, and there's more nature and more communities.
And while we're talking about nature, I think one of the other cool things about San Francisco and why I love being in real estate is because, real estate is kind of sector agnostic, and we get to talk to everybody, and we meet so many interesting people, and it is, the nature and the beauty is amazing, but then we get really smart people, and we are at the cutting edge of technology, and, with AI coming in, we just, we're at the forefront of things. And now, the talk about, is San Francisco becoming the new Silicon Valley? you get this great counterpoint of we get the beauty and the brains.
That's right. The beauty and the brains. I like that. That was really good.
San Francisco.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too with this sort of like comeback that we're seeing, not just in the headlines and the stats, but also our own experience, which mirrors all that. I think the happiness quotient is real, and it's fostering more relationship and connection in that community that I love. Like I went to summer camp every summer, like that community part, like everyone knows each other's name. Like you often don't get that in a city setting, right? But when you have those neighborhoods that are close and neighbors know each other, and you've got your local butcher and your local bakery, as you said, right? That starts to really be your community, and it's so nice to experience that here. And well, we could just keep talking about this all day.
Let's talk a little bit about, we're in real estate. We are real estate advisors.
Yeah.
Just San Francisco through a real estate lens. I think we can kind of, in short, talk about this whole same thread about why we love San Francisco, but let's talk about it a little bit through a real estate lens.
Well, I think the natural sort of step from this is, I think community carries a premium. When there's that feeling of togetherness, of nature, of access to convenience. If pockets like Noe Valley, Cole Valley, Union Street, there are many more in San Francisco, of course, but people want to be part of community. Many people do. And I think that there are some communities that, like, I think about college. There were communities you paid to be in, like a fraternity or a sorority.
Right.
This community you don't pay overtly to be in, but the prices of real estate tend to be higher because it's so desirable.
Right.
And so I think something that is great to talk about with our clients and our future clients is, what kind of experience do you want to have in this city?
Yep.
Do you want to know your neighbors? Do you want Halloween to be on your street? Do you want to be walking distance to restaurants or recreation
do you want a yard?
options?
Do you want a high view deck?
But maybe you don't need the yard because you're right next to the Presidio. Or maybe you do want that to entertain.
Yeah.
And, we've got one client who wants to put that basketball hoop in the yard and play with their children. And I totally get that. And so
I surfed. So do you want to go walk down to the ocean and go surfing? Or do you want to be able to get to the trains to leave the city? So
I think it's mirroring like the practical day-to-day, like where do you work? Where are you traveling? Realizing that somebody might not have the same job forever, but and then also what are your lifestyle needs? Like where do your friends currently live? Where do you think they will live? What do you need to have at the house versus nearby? We sort of can design once we know someone's needs, professional, personal, family, all that, we can sort of figure out what neighborhoods would be most appealing and suggest them and tour them through there and introduce them. And many of our clients are already savvy, know those neighborhoods, but many don't know or really know those neighborhoods. And I think that's something that we particularly excel in. And it's so fun to matchmake and connect people to the right neighborhoods. And then, of course, it's finding the right house, right? And so, it could be a condo, TIC, co-op, home, whatever. But I think that's how I would connect it back to San Francisco real estate.
Yeah, and it goes back to your point of there's something for everybody, and it's just where what type of lifestyle you want to live very much coincides with the different neighborhoods and feels, and there are just so many different pockets and types in the city, and it's fun to kind of matchmake in that way.
Absolutely. So my before we close up, my invitation to everybody here who's listening is, well, first of all, we'd love you to comment and tell us what your favorite neighborhoods are, gems of the city. Like, please do that on this video. Do it on our Instagram. Like, we want to hear from you, and please introduce us to places we haven't been to, because you'll take your kids. My wife and I will go. We'll bring our dog if they're allowed. And also reach out if you're thinking about exploring buying in a new place and maybe don't know where to start, or maybe you do think you know where to start, we'll workshop that with you. We love talking San Francisco and all the different nuances and the neighborhoods and what our favorite pockets are. We're here for that. So reach out early, even if you're not going to buy for a year or two. Cool. Let's start the conversation now.
Well, that was fun. Just talking, it just makes me love our city that much more. So thanks for coming. That's it for the Real San Francisco today and the Why We Love San Francisco edition. And as always, stay real, San Francisco.